Hello, David. We're going to study roles together. So, do you have any particular question in roses after you take?
What I liked from last week's class was your spontaneous methods that you were using to paint the rose, but you started with some basic shapes and structures of the petals, and from there you moved on top of that. It seemed to, which was to paint it in more of this spontaneous style, which I like, and I don't think I've
Okay, let's just review that.
good enough to do that on other things like horses, or I would like to.
I think it's good to review last class. So I'm going to explain to you again the approach I use, an analytical approach. Because instead of I copy what I see analytically, I try to separate the petal into two steps. So I paint all those curved edges first, because that's the characteristic of a rose. Especially you see this is a fading rose. Can you see the picture here? Especially this rose is two color with the peach and the red. So the curly red, curved part is usually dark, which is different than other flowers. Conventionally, dark is near the bottom, but for roses, you can see the dark is on the edge and the light is in the bottom, right?
Right.
So when we do that, you can, of course, you can do the double loading from dark to light, and then your brush will be upside down. You know what I mean? So the dark side on the outer edge, and then the bottom is a kind of light. So it's not an easy task if you do that, although I have seen people do that. So for me, I do it separately. So let's start with the dark part. And I structure the rose is more squarish. Do you see that in your rose? So it's angular. And
Right.
when it comes to a petal like this, you see this triangle shape?
Yeah.
The square. That's the square. See that's if I turn it backside, you can also see that more clear. So this is another characteristic with roses. And in the nature, we suppose don't have any line, especially with oil painting or watercolor painting. Everything is surface. It's like a mess or plane, not a contour line, right? They don't draw the lines to start with, especially with oil. Or watercolor you draw with pencil, but that doesn't count. It just help you guide the shape. But
Right.
in Eastern painting, the line is primary. So we tend to draw the contour with ink. If it's a light flower here, if you draw this yellow flower on a white paper, usually we just do it with outline. But outline is usually done with another style called fine line style. You have probably learned, from last. You missed that class, but you did learn it before with from Victoria, right? So in painting, we can draw the line. It could be more free, but when I do this, I take a middle ground. So it's not a completely line or shape. It's just a structure line, I will say. Let me show you what I mean by that. So for this rose, I'll use rouge and a little bit carmine maybe to warm up a little bit. So you can start with a little carmine and then rouge. You can use tube color. The carmine is 390, right? Rouge is I forgot. It's the dark red. So you can just use rouge and carmine mix for the dark. So I don't worry about the peach color or the pink color under the petal yet. So you can start from petal in front of you. Usually that's the starting point. If you can see I will choose maybe an angle that has a corner. It's kind of hard to. Here we go. Here, this side, maybe this like that. So you can see that angle there. Hope you can see. Can you still see that? Let me just hold it like that. So there's something like this, right? Something like that.
Which angle are? Oh, the bottom one.
This one is right here on my hand.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can do a triangular shape there, and the side. So another layer would be like that, right? And then another. It's a V shape. Basically, it's a V shape, right? So, but we don't need to copy the exact. If I copy it, it will be too symmetrical, right? So, and in natural, you see they are not really. So you can combine these two, become one, and then keep this separate. Just vary it like this would be good. And then you can dip a little more if the ink becomes too light, and you can see the center. Maybe just close that gap here, and then just I normally don't copy what I see exactly. I use that as inspiration, a structural model, not exactly the representational copy. But I use that as a structure, abstract thing. So I can see another triangle here, and then some minor petals. I don't really know what's going on. So I just kind of fill in that center with small triangles, if you wish, if you like. But I don't really close all these white lines in between, because otherwise you will end up with a blob. So I do leave a little white between those lines.
Right.
And then I just keep doing this. So on this side, I see some multiple petals stacking together, and on the far side. So you have to summarize. You see, I not to repeat the pentaparallel. Instead, I do another triangular corner here, so that against this line, and then here I can see some triangles like this, and some triangles like that. So see, my brush is getting lighter and softer. It's naturally it happens. I don't really blend that on purpose on the palette. So I just simply continue, and then even the brush is getting exhausted because I got light color now in the brush. I can just use that. If it's a red flower like here, I don't have to change color. I will just exhaust that brush. But now if we do this more realistic peach color, you can get a little bit yellow. You can get another brush, a little bit yellow, and then a little bit orange color or red, whatever. Just make it into orange color, and then maybe a touch of carmine at the top without blending too much. And you can see that kind of like this, right? The orange color, you can see it like that. Yeah. So I'm now using, in the beginning I use the tip of the brush. So the brush is held at a smaller and a larger angle. Now the angle against the paper is very small, almost slant like this. So you just use the side. By side brush you can use this side, the not the tip. So you can get a broader, also as if the brush is flat. You see what I mean? So this is to get the large areas, and I still leave a little white there in touch. You see that create highlight as if they're nice effect. So that's my peach blossom. You see, because I'm painting wet into wet, so some line will merge, will blur. So that's natural. But in the center, it's still very definitive. If needed, I can go back and add some rouge with maybe indigo to make it really dark, to put some shade apart. You can add a little bit purplish, even ink in the indigo just to darken it. So that's the first. Let me see how you're doing. Okay, so far you did good on the line part, the curved part. Now you have to change different brush, a larger soft brush. If you use the same brush, you have to really use the heel of the brush all the way to the heel of the brush to get the larger, the side brush. This is the different brush size I use. This one is almost like a, what do we call, the super wash kind of size. It's more than when I have.
All I have right now are my orchid bamboo.
Just one brush in hand. That's okay.
No, I've got a.
Oh, I see. That's good enough. Just a slanted brush. Turn your sometimes I have to put my arm, put on palm facing sky, facing the ceiling, like this.
Yeah, for the side.
Yeah. So then you can do the side stroke. If you hold the brush like this is for the tip, right? And then you have to turn your wrist upside down from this position to this position to do the side.
Okay.
Let me see if you can get the side really under the curved part, like this yellow part. This yellow part.
Okay.
So excuse me, you have to move the tip along the curved edge. You have to move up in that direction. Move up to right position.
I'm using a pink instead of a yellow.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Just lighter tone. Yeah, lighter tone. The holding of brush is not really right. I don't think it's right. You have to hold 90 degree. If the line is the level, so your brush will be more vertical to that. You're not holding like if I draw a line horizontal, for example, the dark one, so the next stroke is vertical. You hold not the brush is vertical. The brush position is like a T shape. You know what I mean? Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you those two brush, two strokes. I think that's the reason you didn't get the side brush. Let me do just one petal here. Look at me here. If I have this line right there, that's the curved part, right? To complement that, next stroke is this. You hold the brush like this, see? And then move like this. You understand? And you can make it.
Yeah, it's pretty much parallel to the paper, right?
It's not just like that. It's the brush tip on top, bottom like this. So you move this way. That's the side. The brush tip, brush tip goes not stable. If you just print like that, what you did wrong is this. Let me mimic you. But in some area, it's okay. Like this, you did something like that, right? That's okay. But can you get this large one? That's the side view or even back view one, like this flower next to me. If I want to do this flower.
Let me draw a curved line. If I understand that I'm left-handed, so
you're left-handed.
Now if I draw a.
I think that your left hand should. That's close. That works. In some cases, that works. If you can.
Otherwise.
Okay. I can use the left hand to mimic you. Then let's do left hand. Let me do it left-handedly. It doesn't matter which side. Let me draw this line on top of this. Let's just do another line here. Let's just say this line like this, right? And I'm now using my left hand so you can see better, right? So I got some yellow. You can use pink, doesn't matter. I just want to mimic this color here.
Right.
The cardium yellow, gamboge yellow will be fine. And then a little bit red, make it pink. I hold it in this hand, right? So I want to go, it's easier to turn this way rather than that way. So you turn inward, you go like this, right? Like this. You see what I mean? So
it's easier to turn inward like that.
You're doing the opposite. Well, you can, but just be aware of what you're doing. So you need to adjust if you want to. So this is another curly part on the left side. If it's side view, so you can just use the brush like that. It's opposite. So just like that, whichever works. So you can turn your brush around to find the best position for
The
your
only
stroke.
other way to do it is to turn my hand upside down.
You can. Sometimes I do that. For example, if we have petals on the top like this, actually this won't happen. I don't really see that. So you're still under it. So you do something like that. As long as the brush stroke, let me exaggerate a little bit. I put some more dark so you can see my tip position and my bottom position. So the widest petal I could do, whole petal size like this, right? I can do is like this. See, I can do something like that or something like this, right? Without doing the curly part. You can do the curly part afterwards. See, this is the side stroke, side brush stroke, using the side. What's wrong is you don't move the brush, you just stamping like that. That's
I think I'm moving it. Watch.
you move it along the side. That's good. As long as the gradation moves, that's good. And you can have the brush even more, have a broader, the maximum is twice of that, right? Because your brush is 1.5 inches. So you can, the maximum side brush strokes should be all the way to the heel. Try to make a square all the way to the heel. Yeah, almost there. So use the heel of the brush to maximize that. Now you got it. That's right. Now it's much better than, because otherwise your line and the surface shape is not clear. It still looks like a line.
I see. Okay.
You want to make sure the line is a line, the wash is a wash. So the wash stroke you must use the side. Okay, that's the most important, because that's the soft. The wash is soft. The line is you hold the brush straight, like you perpendicular.
For the line.
So that's the flower part. Should we talk about bud? I think we can talk about the bud. I don't have a bud here, but I can show you. So the if it's half bloom, it will be just the one, maybe two dark strokes, and then you use light brush. You can use the same brush if you like. Just this time you can stamp. You can just imprint the shape of the brush, just like that.
Can you move your paper down a little bit? I've got the. Okay.
Thank you. So this is the top 1, 2, right, and then you can stamp like that. It's still side brush. You see that a side stroke like this, right? If I got some dark there, you will see something like this. It's
that's the bud.
That's the bud. It's half bloom. You can make it half bloom. Just extend that, and maybe something like that. So just you can add to it, no problem. And you can make it into a full bloom, or maybe just a side view. And notice those triangle, the outer contour. That's we talked about the Israel flags. Those triangular shapes. I talked in the class. I talked about something like this.
Right.
So that's the contour of the roses. You can something roughly like that, right? So that's the characteristic of you see this yellow flower, really like that. You see the fading flowers more squarish and triangular. Here, let me just take that out so you can see. You see that? You see this flower I just did? What's that? Corners, right?
Yeah. Well, it's triangular at the bottom.
Basically,
sort of like open fan at the top.
You just read this as the whole shape is like a shadow, a profile,
okay.
a silhouette.
Right. I guess I see what you're saying. Okay.
You don't have to look at or anything inside. Just look at that. That's the characteristic of rose already.
Oh, see? So are you looking at it? What angle are you looking at?
Oh, I'm looking at from top down. Right? Just
from the inside out, right?
Just like this. Doesn't matter which angle. It's a top view. Front view, but you don't want to make it really right in the front, so it might be a little bit towards the right or something like that.
So wait a minute, you made Jewish star. Wait a minute, let me just.
You can make a triangle shape, and then another triangle shape, kind of like this, just like a one triangle, two triangle, and then maybe more triangle, something in the center, triangle. So that's my abstract. But of course you will omit some. So that's your ideal model. But in reality, it will, because the media will blur or alter it and paint it into wet, so it will hide it eventually. And then you can adjust to what's happening on the paper just to make it more rounded maybe. Just round it up maybe a little bit, or emphasize on one to create a more shady area, and then some more highlighted. So it become to trick the viewer to think it's a flower, not a flat symbol anymore.
Right.
So by contrast, by some hard and some soft edges, blurry. So it become more believable, more natural flower.
So when you're painting, are you always looking for those line shapes first?
That's a good question. When I paint, let me show you what the process you should go. It's just like a drawing. You do the envelope shape first. I usually, when I draw a flower or anything, I will think the gesture, and then how to say, maybe in the flower we can just say the angle of the flower, right? So you can dot the center first. You see the yellow here? I just dot. Okay, here the center. Okay, just put a little dot, and then you find you can go from center out, but immediately I will go to the topest, the highest point and the lowest point, and this may not on the axle. It's slant. So if I draw a cross line, it will be like that, and then the most leftist and the rightist points. So something like that, right? And then I'll just connect those lines with my if you draw realistically, without doing those abstractions, you will combine, you'll connect all these points to form an envelope, and then you do what's inside, right? So this is to control the big shape. And in Western painting, I think in Chinese painting too, we work on the shady part more, and then just create the contrast. So you can use a little more color here. I just, without thinking about light source, I just put a dark line under the curly part, right? So that creates an illusion of contrast. You can use a little bit red or brown, maybe brown, more natural. Anyway, so this is my yellow rose. Can you see it? Yeah, I just do two thirds maybe, and just leave the other in your imagination. I don't really complete that. That's a watercolor approach also. So that's the idea. If you want to do it in a real life one, you abstract, you simplify it into big shape. Let's do this one. This one has a board shape, like a cabbage center. So we can do that part as if we do the flower. Oh, peony. So the peony is more like this, right? It's like dark on the bottom, right? So you can do that, and you can start with the peony. And but now we're getting into the rosy part, the square edge. So then I add those corners, just like the Jewish star.
Right.
Jewish star, like that, and that's it. But ideally, it should be some dark. See, you can see the shadow in there. So I add some darks back to the center, like here. I add another So when I have trouble here, fix, I think about the rule of triangles. So I just put a triangle. I don't have to copy exactly. This is that is that. You just put the triangles. So you can put the triangle in to give structure to the mess. See, now you can see the flower, right? Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the approach. It could come after the light, so the dark could come after as a definition to make it work. So you can start from dabbing or shapes, blocking in the big shape, and then add line to that. It also works. In composition, we want to make this two. Actually, they are different. This one's smaller than this one is bigger. So that's the you have one dominant one. This one could be the host, whatever you call it. One big and one small. When you have two flowers, one big and one small, right? And then after the flowers, we do the leaves. You can add buds later as leaf, part of leaves. For the leaves, two schools of thoughts. You can do the stem first. I think the advantage of that is the leaf will have a structure. So let's consider that. The stem is usually the same color as the leaf. So but I add a touch of brown or vermilion to the green, just make it warmer or more like that. But yellow flower is more yellowish, I know. So I use maybe 4 different greens to get my perfect green. So I won't call it green. You just want to get something like has a tinge of rouge in it. Here you can see, maybe you see it. There's some tinge. So I don't mix them well. Just make a little. See, the rouge is in the green. So we do that always, or you can use the orange color. You can add in to charge a little red also, just vary the green a little bit. These stems are very tender, right? You can have it like that, something like that. And I start to do the S shape. And tomorrow in the class, I think the day after tomorrow, this coming week, I'll talk about where the branch coming off from the sides. So usually not avoid the centers, the middle point. Just put it on the side like this. So you have it like a S shape. And then the leaves will be something like that. And then you just exhaust that color. And I'll remake some color here, if you can see. I use green to start with, but you can use yellow and indigo. You get this green, and then add a little. You see this dark color here? It's pretty dark, so it's not a tender color, light color. So I use more red or brown in it to make it brownish, and then I probably add a little more blue to it, and then some
I
root.
didn't bring all my colors down. I'm in the basement.
Oh, you just use ink will be fine if you don't have the color. Light ink, light to dark ink, and to contrast, I can use ink myself. Actually, I just use this black. I think. Yeah, you can use some black. It's good to go with the yellow. So that's you want to use the color to contrast out the flower here. So it could be like that. But usually I use side stroke. You see, if you use the tip of brush, you have to do the stroke in two strokes, right? For a big one. And so I just paint them more squarish, like that. Yeah, you side of the stroke, the brush, like that. It's just like you do the petals. So there's gradation also. And do it fast if the brush is too wet. You can repeat if you need it. You can use multiple strokes combined to get larger one. So they come near the top is only three strokes, And I put something in between, separated the two flowers here. Let me add some more red to it because it's tender near the. Oh, you can paint those what we call this sepals, right? Just under the behind the rose.
Mm-hmm, right.
You can use that as instead of leaves, just like you can paint. Let's see, something like that. Okay, and then so I really don't worry about individual leaves. I try to create a cluster look, combine the shape. So there's leaf behind the flower, maybe and here we need to have some older leaves or darker leaves. So it will be okay. Here we got perfect leaf. Here you can look. You can see just a partial one. It's pretty large. Where we have this leaf here, it will come out naturally with gradation if you keep painting without a reload. You start from dark to light, and you should paint in different perspective, which means some very flat, like a side view here, something like that, and some maybe downward. I think that's it. And then I would use a stiff brush to draw the veins. You can use ink with a little rouge. You can just use dark ink. Some stroke already have a line, so that's good. And this line don't have to be in the center, like this one. It could be in the center, but some in the and one more towards left or right. Just do a straight line to divide the shape. Make it more interesting, and it will create more not just structure but more perspective view. And sometimes we do the secondary veins like this, and rose has some fuzzy edge, and we even can dot those in just along the edge to suggest that fuzzy edge, just like that. Little dots, little dots, and they are pretty short, so not like a really round. It's more like comb, but curved forward. So it curved forward, not the other way. Curved to the towards the tip. You see that? And finally, you dot the thorns with red rouge, and maybe a little bit like this, with a kick, horizontal kick, a downward dart, and then go up and then kick sideways.
Go up and then kick?
Let me show you a big stroke. It's like the chocolate kiss chocolate like this.
Right,
okay,
yeah.
This is the outlined form, and you go down, go up, and then kick down. Lift the brush a little bit. Press, lift, kick. Hold the brush straight. Hold the brush straight. Go down, like this. If I lift the brush right way, and then go to the center again, and then kick to the left or right. You can finish the more paint more leaves on. Okay, but since you're not a composition, it looks good. I like the flower gesture you got. So it's not symmetrical, asymmetrical. That's good. And I like the dark and the voids. Light contrast. That's good. The center could be a little bit loose on the lower star. You just don't block the center. Just leave a little air in the center. So I think maybe I made it wrong. So if I want to remake, I just make something darker to create to bring back some more breath. So it's not just a blob. It has something.
Right, it's not just a blob.
Yeah. That's good. The one on top is the best you have done.
Right. Yeah.
So you can increase the contrast by adding a little dark, even more in the center, just a couple of strokes that will highlight the top, just near the top, just a few curved. You can go back to highlight just a little. Just the same stroke. Don't scribbling. Just like a calligraphy. Calligraphy means one stroke, one shape. Yeah. No going back. Just.
Are you teaching a course this summer?
The new class starts in July 11th. You can see that I will release that maybe soon, but I don't have a syllabus yet. But I do have a date. Yeah.
Is the calligraphy classes?
Yeah, her class is always mixed with painting. Yeah, you can take the recorded class. She has a year-round class recorded during the pandemic. More than I think 100 classes. If you sign up for the regular online class site, you can have access to all the materials and the recording.
Okay.
There.
How would you so many different things I could be painting, and sometimes I just want to paint horses, for example, or trains. Should I go from one to the other, or
just go with your main interest, and but follow the live class may more inspiration, and you can actually those could be mutually beneficial. Even do the horse your with the brush and the color would also help. So there's only a few kind of strokes, like a side stroke or tip concealed stroke. So like outline with a tip concealed stroke, and then you shape the side stroke. That is the same. So we consider horse as the same as there are lots of common techniques. So we call them flower and birds painting in general. The landscape is a little different. So I in my class I alternate flowers and birds and the landscape in the broader sense. So class would be flower and birds, right?
Okay. So picture I showed you in this Chinese art.
So that's why when I teach master copy, I always show you the original, not my copy of the original. You see what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
And where would you put in the rows that I painted in the upper right left-hand corner? Where would you put the lines?
Oh, to add that, can you hold the painting up so I can see more close to the area you're wondering? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think the definition on top of those petals could be a little definitive, like I had similar to here. So because it got blurred, so you can add those dark back, just like when we started, we have this kind of line, right? Something more like this, more definite. Yeah, you can add this layer, this dark edge, this dark curved edge. Yeah, you can add this dark, just like front, not necessarily on the back, because the side view I like that. But you also have to kind of consider what you got. You want to honor the accidents, because those are your soul of this painting, your particular painting. So you want to keep the good ones. Don't destroy that. But if you want, I think it might be good to just add a little V shape, maybe to separate define the front from the back, and you have the back there, so maybe just something. I see a white area in between. That's your center, right? Maybe I'm not sure. It looks as good as you get. You don't have to do this. I do like the shading on the bottom, which is more real, like what I see here. So that's okay. You don't have to make it into a. As long as you feel balanced, it's a rose. Maybe ask someone second opinion. Always ask Victoria to see what she thinks. So if they can tell if it's complete, you don't have to overdo it. And sometimes I have to wait it to dry to add or see the true color. When it's wet, it looks much darker, so it will dry lighter. Yeah, that's another thing you want to wait. Yeah. About 5 minutes. Do you want to see another one?
Sure.
Okay. Do the red one. We got the yellow, we got the peach. Oh, we can just do the peach. Let's cut this. We normally don't do the rose in vase, but I make exception today just for fun. Since I have it here, I cannot really show you the vase. Can you see it? Yeah, like that. Okay, it's gonna do. So I will draw this vase. Oops, got water up. Okay, I will use a little gray blue to draw this vase. It's actually purplish. So I add some purple, maybe purplish, just dirty gray. It's fine. And here you can see here. Okay, draw. It has some pattern. Let me make it simple. Just draw a line, maybe something to suggest the unevenness of this small kind of shape. Kind of twisted shape, something like that. It goes up like that. So don't fuss with that too much, I think. So that's the vase I have here. Dotted line, yeah, so it's more suggestive. Instead of drawing a complete shape, you can put a foot there, but it's flat. And then I use a clean brush just for the red rose. I use some even there's no yellow, I will put some yellow, just the orange color to start with, and then I put hot red, cool red. So I got a gradation from hot to cool. And in the tip of the brush, see, I load the brush pretty pure, as the not out of tube kind of thickness, but it's pretty dark. So I draw this my trademark rose pattern here in front of this real one, but I don't draw the outer ones. I will just leave them loose. See the triangle start to take shape there, and I'll draw this one up there, and this is a side view. So just a line, and concentrate on the outer shape. The left is the lowest point, some corners, something like that. You have to exaggerate because the natural flower really kind of symmetrical. We want to make it asymmetrical. So I just add more light, maybe just water on the bottom of the brush. I use another clean brush to do this. And then I just do the side brush strokes. See, I can ignore the individuals. I just draw this whole thing in one stroke because my brush is big enough. So I just draw this right half like that. You can add more if needed. And then I don't have to change. Let me use my left hand so you can see how. Okay, so draw this side brush like that. I leave some white. You can blot it, so don't block everything there, and just draw this one there, maybe a little bit. I think, yeah, we could have more angle here and angle there. So the shape is not round. That's very important. I purposely make it squarish. Okay, and I can combine these two somehow so they don't. And I just use the heel of the brush, exhaust. So just stamping some, you don't have to worry what side brush or what. Just use the whole brush, exhaust the color to paint very heavily. Tomorrow I'm going to, the day after tomorrow we'll do the magnolia, and I'll use more of the heel to paint very heavy strokes. Okay, so this area is kind of combined. Now I changed back to the leaf brush. If you have one brush, you have to wash it. You can watch me because we don't have time for you to follow.
Right.
So I have to do faster. So I just use ink and indigo to make it simple. It's pretty dark here. You can see almost like a black, and add a little indigo to it, just make it more greenish. I'm gonna cover this petals, and this just serves as water. So I can paint. When I cut in this shape, see behind the flowers like that. So that also give me an opportunity to form the triangle shape, right? And the leaves can go out a little bit there, right? And this leaf in between. So it must be dark to cut in the shade, the shady area here. You can cut back in the flower shape if needed. Okay, you have a sepals, and okay, the leaf hanging down like that. Side stroke. Right? If not enough, you can just go back, add the half stroke, and but not symmetrical. Okay, here's another one. I make it very squarish because to harmonize it. All the stroke I do is squarish with the petal, same kind of stroke. And here I see only I have to omit, combine this shape into one. I think, yeah, I see a little bit tip there. That's it. So I use this to cut in that triangle again, and that's it. Yeah, we have some other flowers going on in the back. I like that feel. So you can add a falling flower on top, just behind, and this is the back view. So you see this sepals. Use opaque color to cover. Oops, it's kind of too wet. You have to wait it drier to do this, but we don't have time. So this is in the back, so just keep it blurry. That's fine. And you can have some definition on the top, and suggest there are not other flowers. You just make those corners, so give people hint their roses, not other triangular shape in the back. That's not necessary actually, because I'm trying to copy what I see again. This is not a good idea. Okay, after that you can give a little definition to the leaf by adding a vein to the center. Oops, I got purple. It actually just black, just a touch of black. And then I will leave this vase very. It has a little. Pardon me?
I like it. I like the top part colored, and I wouldn't do much to the vase.
Oh, sorry, you cannot see that. Yeah, I will just add a little bit, a hint of the stem in the water here. It is with a little green, just to suggest it's behind the glass, and you don't have to do the glass. But if you want, you can use the Western color theory or whatever to do the reflective light or whatever. But we could just leave it like that, and you can do the cast shadow like something. I don't know, something maybe.
Do Asian artists paint the shadows?
No. But nowadays it's a fusion more. They do more and more. But traditionally, no, they don't do that. Yeah, but the whole thing, like I mentioned, is a cast shadow. The whole thing is inspired from a cast shadow on the wall, on the window paper or something. You see the profile of the flower or the leaf. That's to flat it in shape. That's the silhouette. The silhouette of the flower is like a shadow itself. Yeah, so you don't need to worry too much what's inside. Just the whole shape of this flower is silhouette of a profile of the flower.
On the lowest rose though, is the darker color the inside of the rose, or
is this one? This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, the darker color is the curved structure of the petal. This lines does not exist in Western thinking. You always think the what do you call the shape and the mass, right? We call it a contour, but I just simplify the. You can call it my abstract. Yeah, the curly part. Actually, it looks darker. That's why I start with this flower, because even this flower, you can see the curved part. If you look at the back, it's become more clear. What's in the you see this is the contrast. Curved part is the line I draw. And you can see on the back side view, you can see those lines much darker, contrast with the dorsal side of the pedal, right? Can you see that? In the front, it's the same thing. You can, but sometimes because the light make those parts lighter, but we don't do it. It's still not as white or lighter. It's still darker than the inside. So what's this edges? Can you see that? So I use dark. You can see those edges. It's dark, right? Especially the feathered rose. So if you go to your garden and just picture of those before you cut it, before they are falling, you will get that idea. So I got inspiration from the falling roses, the falling stage of the rose. Can you see it? Yeah, the curly part. And you can see those. Can you see the dark against the light? The light is actually the dorsal side, the back side.
Right.
You see that? Yeah. That's the side view. Yeah. Even you, I think you still look at the dorsal side, no matter what. In the side view, 3/4 view, the center is really dark, but that's a different dark. You can combine those darks, so that's why sometimes I just this dark, just make it the center more shady. But you don't have to really define them as long as people get the idea. Like it's a rose, then it's more of the spirit of the rose. If you get we call it than the picture of the rose.
Then the structure of
the structure, yeah. It's a more of a analytical rose. Yeah. I just add a little orange to diverse that color on top, and then so this one become cool pink. I got this one a little hotter. I added some orange there, so you can change the temperature of that. And this is faded, in the back, representing the third rose right here. See that? Well, that's my model here.
Okay, Henry, I appreciate your time.
No problem. Paint with more confident.
Inspiration.
Yeah, study the painting I did in class first. So when you look at the rose, you got. I hope you can see. Oh, this is where Henry saws. This is the stroke he applied. So that would be the process. If you go there, start from a realistic drawing, then you got lost. If you have a style in mind, and you verify that against the real rose, so it will probably help you see the rose more different in a different eye. Yeah.
How much do you actually go out and sketch?
Oh, I did a lot sketch in my early years when I developed this style. I have taken hundreds of pictures also, but pictures won't help. You have to sketch. So when I sketch this, I'll do something just use pencil here. This example, like I'll just draw my stroke. I draw my stroke, my curved part, right? So I pay more attention on my paper. I just use the in front of me as a prompt. I pick the ones I like. I ignore those that I don't copy everything I do. Do you see a drawing there already? If I color it, you'll see. So this is my like a stroke guide. So then when I got back, I can. If I just color the dark, you'll see it's more like the Western idea maybe. So I just shade those. So there's only two elements for me: the curved part and non-curved part. You see, just simplify into the two, it will do good. So and for those outer part, you have to use line to do it, right? And look at the whole shape. The whole shape is a star, but somehow in a perspective, it doesn't look so symmetrical anymore. So that's my. I draw the drawing. You can use any paper, computer paper, or just a sketchbook, and then but this is still too realistic, right? So eventually, I sterilize it into all the light, just do my structure painting. You see, this is the line, and then the shape, like this. Do you want to see a picture of my earliest rose? One of my earliest rose. You really get idea. So that's a breakthrough when I get into this point, and I suddenly became. Okay. See it here in the. Let me see. Let me take this away. Okay, this painting is my earliest work of this style. Can you see how abstract, how powerful it is?
Right.
Yeah. You see, I just ignore. I did this from imagination. So eventually you will be free to do this. Your mind rose, your rose in your mind. Okay, and that's basically the two elements that we talked about. You see the center. So I leave a lot of white there. Yeah, I keep looking at this to remind my first moment.
But that looks. I don't. Were you drawing? That doesn't seem like a lot of lines. So.
Okay, the lines are the curved part, like a line, their edges, and the dorsal side is either light or dark or omitted. Yeah, and some effect like this just accidental. It looks like a dew, just a water drop. Some marks. So it just the paper is very sensitive. So every little movement, don't load the brush too even. I use just one color, rouge, but with water. So it's translucent. It looks like they're still wet, like a water drop on in the morning, something like that. When I just watered them, you can see this kind of mark. But I cannot reproduce this. I cannot teach you. Just keep it when it happens. Yeah. Keep it. So you basically don't load the brush evenly. You can see the loading. It's clean water. So there's a lost edge always on the bottom. So I use all the way. This is not a big brush. I probably just used something like this, like this size. This size.
Looks like my orchid bamboo.
Yeah, 1 inch half brush the most. So that's the you see this squarish. That's one stroke. I now just going to paint another definition, T shape. You just add a little hint of define to the shape, but to keep it squarish. It's not like the round rose you really see here. So this is same kind of rose I'm doing, but in the real life it's like that. But when fading, you look at this here today, it's very much like what I did, right? So it become more squarish, and this is the fading rose I'm doing here. I did here on this painting.
Yeah, the structure becomes less defined as it fades.
Yeah. It's losing. So this center even get more lost. Yeah, I like that. This one is more a little tighter than this one. It's even. So that creates another stage kind of feel. Yeah. This you see as we speak, this rose become something like that. It happens near the last stage of blooming. Okay, let you go now and see you.
Well, I will see you on Thursday.
See you got my handouts, right? Study that. It will help you to get starting off point.
The handout for Thursday, or
for Thursday. I already emailed last midnight. Yeah. See you. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks, Henry. See you Thursday.
See you Thursday.
Bye.